Customizing bikes is just about as much as getting the bike to reflect your personality as it is something to ride. This bike I built in 2006. It's a bike that I call for go and not for show. It has no paint on it whatsoever, none. I wanted something that I could just ride and not have to baby as far as the look of it. Everything is set up for me on this bike that fits me, not just in proportion, but in style. This reflects who I am. I got started as a real youngster. A lot of people in the neighborhood had mini bikes. It wasn't always available, so when I got the chance, it was like one of the more exciting things I could do. In 1989, I lost my brother to a motorcycle accident, and I think after that, a lot of people thought I might not ride anymore or have anything to do with motorcycles. And I ended up teaching elementary school physical education for 8.5 years, but only after about 4 years, I had already realized that I really wasn't happy. I didn't impose any negativity on myself for that, but people on the outside, their responses were like, well, you've spent all this time getting your education and degree. Are you just gonna set that aside and put that aside? My wife told me, she'd rather me be happy than rather me coming home feeling like I was always drained and beaten down and never being able to look forward to the next day. I grew up in a kind of a blue-collar industrial area. I enjoyed working with my hands, and I got more excited the more I did it, so it was kind of leading up to an exit plan from teaching. For me personally, going from a white-collar job to a blue-collar job, it's almost been stigmatized by society that, well, if you work a blue-collar job and you work with your hands, you must have been forced to go do that because you should have been able to do something else on the white-collar side, almost as if you have a white-collar job, you must be a better person or a better educated person. What makes me successful in my eyes is, do I find value in what I do? And am I happy doing it? How was I going to pursue this and be able to make a living out of it? I had no garage, and we were living in a townhouse when I started this. My wife was so accepting that I had everything that I would normally have in a shop in my house. I was making parts right in my front yard. I didn't have a shop. I had to go out and weld in my front yard, bend and shape metal in my front yard, use a blowtorch in my front yard. It was the only space I had. And I went out and bought a real small welder that I could afford, just a couple $100s. That allowed me to really create better products, and people started coming to me more for their fabrication needs for their bikes. You just have to start where you're at with what you have and go forward. There's no other choice. Knowing that I wanted to do some custom bike work, my inclination was, well, if I'm going to be better at this, I need to know what I'm working around. So I took 6 months to go to Florida and went to the American Motorcycle Institute. It was definitely the thing to do. Everybody can give you lip service about what they say they can do. This gives you some credibility to be able to bring your bike into some shop and be able to take something off and maybe change it completely. That's a game changer for your customer. Just because you have options doesn't mean it was the way you want. More than likely, you've had to settle for something. When you go to the Harley-Davidson plant, you'll see that it's a conveyor belt type operation. They get on a staging line where they're assembled. All the designs were made by a couple of people in an office. We don't do that here. The guys doing customs, it's a lifestyle. Start with an absolutely clean slate. Nothing exists. I will take measurements. How long are your legs? How long are your arms? How far am I gonna have to take the bars out? We fit the bike to you. The classic bikes, I enjoy that there's some nostalgia in it for me. They're not the bikes we see every day, and you're touching history. There's struggles that you go through doing what you want to do. I took some lumps and bumps and made a lot of mistakes. Success isn't a straight line. Success is a squiggly, swirly design. I want my kids to be happy doing what they're doing and not be afraid of failure. If you try something and fail, you didn't really fail in my eyes. You've just become wiser to try it the next time. I don't want to live the same life for 75 years in a row and call that life. My brother's accident was an accident. I'm not going to live my life around what has happened to somebody else. I think I've been able to actually take some of that as fuel for what I do. Our family is motorcycle oriented. My brother rode, I rode. We have lots of uncles and cousins that ride. So I think almost in a way I keep him alive a little bit in life by continuing to do stuff in motorcycles.